Jeff. But I didn't forget that 5 years ago, Ryan pulled a prank on me.
I want to try one for real, though.
Made us drink paint. Or whatever that was.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, better comes standard. Nosler Ammunition, world's finest bullets, ammunition, and brass. Boss Shot Shells, superior made and American made. Carlson's Choke Tubes, the only choke tube we've ever purchased. Onyx Hunt, know where you stand.
Hello and welcome to episode 110 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. My name's Kyle.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ryan.
Do you remember the first time you had heartburn?
Yes, because I didn't have heartburn until like 4 years ago.
I had heartburn like the first time like 6 months ago, and I was like, oh no. Like I was
Something's wrong.
And then people are like, oh, it's just heartburn. I'm like, no,
so
it's
it's
not.
recent for you too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, no, this is 100 times worse. No one's ever experienced this.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's just heartburn. I'm like, it feels like you're dying. Like,
I always got annoyed with the kids in high school that said they had it, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you have heartburn?
grow
You're
up.
16.
or slow down.
Yeah.
I always
Probably slow down.
Take more Prilosec.
I always was jealous of my parents growing up because I always kept Tums in the house. And, you know, Tums is like the chalky candy kind of thing, you know. And you take it when you have heartburn. Well, I never had heartburn. I didn't know what it was. So I was like, you know, you have that when you have heartburn. And I never got to have it because I didn't have heartburn.
Yeah, the colors got to you. Made
Started
you jealous.
faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what got you into your old man candy
It's
with
like
your
that-
Werther's Originals and
As opposed
coffee,
to you with your,
Heath?
what are those sticks?
Fun Dip?
Yeah,
Fun Dip. Just the stick, no sugar.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can-
because I'm an adult. I'm not going to eat the sugar packets.
I would.
Wait, you don't eat the sugar part of it?
I will. I don't love it. I really like the sticks, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I pretended to be sick to have that pink drink when we were kids.
Pepto-Bismol?
I'd wake
no,
up
no,
in the
no.
middle of the night.
No,
No.
the moxicillin.
The
Yeah,
one
it
that
was
comes in the tube spoon.
It was
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, like
exactly.
strep?
It was bubblegum in flavor.
Like
Like
what you
it's
get, like-
antibiotics.
Yeah.
But it had the
Oh.
best flavor I've ever
Oh,
tasted.
yeah, it was bubblegum. I'd
Yep,
take a
it was
swig. I wake
bubblegum.
up in the middle of the night to take a swig. They
Yeah.
kept it in the fridge.
But
Yep.
you also like grape, so.
I do.
He likes fake grape. I never seen him made a real grape.
The worst I ever had was one time I was drinking like soda or something, and like you drink it, and it's like a bubble is like in your lungs. Have you? Has that
Like
happened? to
drank
any
it
of
too
you?
fast, so the carbonation got like stuck.
I guess, but it felt like I was like
Like
suffocating. I was like,
Mentos and Diet
Oh,
Coke
like,
in your
like
stomach?
you like gulped it down.
yeah, like I was like cramping up the whole.
That's what your
front
parents.
You drink too much too fast, and the flap at the base of your throat doesn't let it come back up.
That's why your parents are bad people for not having pop in the house. You didn't know any better. You didn't know how to drink it.
Yeah, I didn't have any
If you
pot
were at Coke,
growing
you would
up.
have realized it.
Yeah.
And then the other day I ate too fast, and then I thought I was gonna choke and die then too. I wasn't actually choking.
That's not like you.
Those are called
I know,
hiccups.
dude. I was
I've
so
never seen you eat fast.
I got up in the middle of the night to go devour,
I do now.
and I was eating way too fast.
Don't you
and
eat different in the middle of the night
You
when no
do.
one's around?
You do.
You're very handsy, you
I-
know.
I
You like pretend you're the Gremlins after
yeah.
midnight. Yeah.
I clogged my whole system up. Or I was like,
Oh,
you-
tighten the chest.
Yeah.
You weren't using any fluids then.
no, none.
You were just
And
straight.
I'm like fighting to get a cup out of the cupboard. And
Was
like,
it
get
cold
wa-
pizza?
This is how
No.
I go.
It was like that. I'm like leaning over the sink, like holding on.
What a shame.
It's 4 a.m.
What a ride.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I woke up once and had like this, like there's something to do with the flap in the back of your throat where apparently it can like get stuck the wrong way or
Yeah.
flip or something.
What?
And it's only ever happened to me one time in my whole life, and I woke up in an absolute panic, and you feel like you're breathing through one of those like coffee stirrers. I'm like,
That's scary.
That
And I-
flap's never supposed to
and
be
I roll
exposed.
over and I shake my wife. I'm like, hey, there's and she goes, you did the flap thing. You're fine. I'm like,
Well, how do you fix it though?
yeah, you're stuck.
goes-
What happens?
she goes, just take a deep breath in. I go, and then I was fine. And she's like, see, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, but
Dang.
what if it wasn't that?
Yeah, you're lucky.
I'm gonna level with you. I know that you think that was your first time. Based on the way you sound while you sleep, I'm
pretty accurate.
convinced.
No, but
I'm
that's
convinced
but
that's every time.
But that's just snoring. That's not you wake up and it continues to happen.
You just can't breathe.
Breathing through
I
straws fine.
feel as though I had something to do with it because I've been rooting against you while you've been sleeping for the last 25
He's
years.
waiting for you to flatline.
Oh my gosh. If it gives you 10 minutes of sleep, it'd be worth the relief. Sorry.
As opposed to the contortionist over here who sleeps in different pretzel conditions. And then when you look over at him, if he wakes up, he just goes.
We've all seen it.
I do kind of sleep like a puppy does.
Yeah.
Butt in the
Yeah,
air.
but not cute. And you wake up angry.
You were supposed to have the pizza ready. Tell that story.
Didn't we just tell that story?
I don't remember.
Or maybe we
I don't
told
know,
it.
I don't-
Maybe we told
Life's
it
a
off
blur.
It is.
air. So we go duck
Fight
hunting.
me.
We go duck hunting, and we, it's one of those deals. You get out like 3, 4 a.m. You come in when you're done at like 11 at one of the managed waterfowl places, and then we come in. We get a hotel. It's the best hotel in the area, and it's not very good.
Yeah.
We slept on top of the covers.
So we get in. We're exhausted. Whatever. We go in, turn the TV on, and then we're talking like we should get food, and then we'll call, order the pizza, and then take a quick nap. And when we wake up, the pizza will be here. Oh, good idea. And then he immediately falls asleep. I wait
With my butt in the air.
maybe 10, 15 minutes. I think about calling for pizza, but then I also fall asleep. We wake up 7 hours later.
We've been up since like 1 a.m.
Full night's rest.
Yep. Middle of the day.
And we wake up at it's like 8 p.m. So I wake up first. So I'm, TV's still on, so I'm flipping through something to watch, and I look over, and as I look over, he wakes up and does the and he's mad. He goes, "Where in the hell's the pizza?" We both fell asleep, buddy.
8 p.m.
And then as soon as I start explaining, I can see in his eyes that he's actually waking up now. And then he's like, "Yeah, we should probably order pizza." Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go cry and
I sleep talk all the time. And the problem with me sleep talking is I make it my goal to convince you in my sleep that I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've never seen it.
You don't understand. There's this problem. I'm not sleeping. I'm awake, and I can see this thing that's happening, and you can't. And we need to get out of here right now. And why don't you understand that?
That actually happened to us one time, though.
The bacon turtle's coming to get us.
I go,
What?
the one time I was like, 7/11/89 is my birthday. Now listen to me. Like that was my way of convincing that I was awake.
That's
Still-
like
that
when
still
we
doesn't
went
count.
skiing.
No, it doesn't.
And that ski patrol guy came from across the hill, and I ran into him because he came from where you're not supposed to come from.
And you can't turn, and you were going
And he-
95 straight down the mountain without a
The
turn
first
in
thing
the
that
car.
hit his shoulder was my teeth. And then we roll, and he comes to me after we kind of come to, and he goes, "Hey, are you okay?" I go, "I think so. How are my teeth?" And I'm going like this, and he goes, "What's your name?" I go, "How are my teeth?" He goes, "What is your name?" I go, "I could give you any name right now, and you wouldn't know because you don't know what my real name is. Now, how are my teeth?"
Tell
He goes, "They're fine."
Yeah, if you're well enough to.
But obviously they're not.
You could have said any name.
Coulda.
Stuart.
Jimothy.
Today when I got to the office, boy, this is just now getting. I was like, we do like our morning thing. We all stand in the kitchen. We all talk and stuff like that. Ryan was a little later today, so me and AJ were talking. I was like, "Yeah, you do anything fun last night?" He goes, "No." And I go, "Oh." He goes, "Oh, my sister had a baby, so I had that going on." I was like, "What?" Like it was such a passive thing. He's like, I was like, "You do anything fun?" Mm-mm. No.
Nope.
I think we were just sour because we were hoping that it was going to be a girl, but it ended up being a boy because she waited till it came out to know what it was.
Oh, all right.
Was
Why'd
it-
you want it to be a girl so bad?
Yeah.
Because there's already 2 boys.
Oh,
Oh.
dumb. Stopped it.
Yeah.
Kill it.
I'm surprised you didn't just know. They always say that they know, like, "Oh, you can tell because a boy sits different and he feels cooler while he's, you know."
I don't
North
know.
Stars.
I
2 inches left.
I'm like
Mercury was in retrograde when blah, blah, blah.
I'm literally 15 for 15 on guessing kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel it and I say it. It's funny because Kimmy just had her baby. Kimmy and Brett, shout out. They just had their baby, and they were like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a girl for sure. It's gonna be a girl because it's sitting this way in the thing, and then it was super light and it didn't show till this."
In
and
the thing.
And like everyone was so sure. I'm like, that 100% is a boy, no question.
What
But
makes
you
you
don't know
know?
why.
I just go with what I feel. Like in the moment, I feel it and I just say it.
We've been watching
feels.
too much
I'm
Manifest.
15 for 15. I like the show Manifest. I'm not sorry, and I won't apologize for that. It's got everything. It's got time travel. powers.
Suspense.
He was explaining it to me today, and he's like, and they have the gems, and then she put it in her arm, but then she injected this other stuff, and then there's aliens, and then the aliens came over their head,
and then this turtle made of bacon came,
and then the pilot was in the seat, but then when he was in the seat, he thought he was still flying, and then he disappeared. And
that literally sounds like he's explaining his dream to you while he's waking up.
It's a good show.
I bet.
On another note, not so happy note.
Yay.
While we were in South Dakota, the guy who was supposed to take us out spearfishing in Mexico,
Baja.
he broke his back.
Trip of a lifetime.
Literally.
Spinal.
No,
He was spinal.
all jokes aside, the guy's really
That does
nice.
suck.
And
That
he
sucks really bad.
I didn't catch. Did he like actually break his back, or was it like a stress fracture thing?
he had to
or-
immediately go into surgery.
Yeah, he
He
used
broke
like
his
a
back.
vertebrae numbered thing.
Ooh.
I broke my C3.
L7.
Whatever.
C3.
D3.
That's your
I'm
neck.
not saying C3.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
was
saying,
like, that's his neck. That's bad.
One of the moons.
They say, I've never heard of someone dying from breaking their neck. Everyone who seems to break their neck lives, so I'm not buying it.
we know a guy who dove into the ocean.
still
and it
alive.
was only like
He's
4
still
inches
alive.
of water, and he was fine. He finished partying for the weekend before he figured out his neck was broken.
Jeez.
Okay, this was exactly
But
what
not
he said.
this guy.
Hi, Kyle. I'm so sorry for this late response and cancellation, but unfortunately, while I was in North Idaho, I took a bad tumble and wrecked my back. My spine doctor is telling me it's time to fuse 2 of my lower vertebrae, so I'm going to have to get surgery, and now I have to cancel the dive trip. I am so sorry. I swear we'll have to get together and do it in 2024. Sorry for telling you so late.
I don't want to. I have no idea how old this guy is, but I'm going to assume
I'm going to guess 40,
based solely
48.
on his use of the word tumble. What is with older people and, oh no, I took a tumble. It's not just a tumble. You broke your back.
Yeah, you didn't fall 3 feet.
Up, up, up.
Okay. So literally, Ryan, as our producer here, is going to help us come up with ideas on. We have to replace that episode. That was for History Channel, and now we're screwed, and we have like 2 months to do
Yeah.
it. So we got to talk about that. It's
not good.
But in the meantime, and this is a bit of a shameless plug, but mainly because I'm obsessed with this stuff. I've tried it. Nobody else has yet.
We've been hearing about it non-stop.
This is called Hero from Wilderness Athlete. So it's actually a mix of their Hydrate and Recover and Energy and Focus. But it is electrolytes for, rehydration.
Nice.
It's caffeine because God love caffeine. It's from natural sources, so it's like good caffeine for you. So you've got energy. It helps you with focus, electrolytes, stamina, building mental clarity. It's got basically no sugar in it. It doesn't give you jitters. It's absolutely fantastic. So I have one for each one of us.
Do we know how much caffeine?
I think it's 150.
Nice.
Oh wow, it's pretty good
Okay.
then.
Yeah, a little zip
It's a
to
little
you.
more than a Red Bull.
So it comes in tropical strawberry. So what you do is you just pour that in the top packet there, and then that's
Open her up and pour it in.
yeah.
So it goes in, then you shake it.
What are the flavors?
Just tropical
It's
strawberry.
the only one right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm holding out for the raspberry.
Mine's got a mark on it.
Oh,
So is
I
mine.
think
What does that mean?
yeah.
But it's just the
Oh.
ones they sent us.
All right.
So what? So
Tropical
Ryan,
strawberry.
while we're doing this,
It smells good.
yeah, it does smell good.
Okay, so
You
you just pour the water in and give it a
yeah.
good shake.
Jeff, pour yours in first.
Yes.
take the lid off.
So while we're doing
Out of
this,
your-
I kind of wanted to go over what episode. I'm trying to be careful. What episodes?
It sounds like
That
everyone's
sound-
peeing.
What we want to do for a replacement episode, since we're not going to Mexico anymore. And right off the bat, I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to just pay homage to our home state of Michigan.
Shake it up good, guys.
Yeah, we haven't done Michigan in a while, just because we've done it so much in the years prior. But now it's been
We knew it would be me.
Next.
we're kind of due.
For a Michigan episode?
Yeah,
It has been a long
good
time.
one. A good one.
We haven't done a Michigan episode. That's the problem.
I think I need more
It's been a
water.
bit.
I don't think you need to fill it with water myself, but that's me.
It doesn't really smell like tropical strawberry.
What's it smell like? I thought it smelled good.
A little
What do you think it smells like?
chalky, a little, almost like earthy.
Well, it is like supplement.
I guess you should. It's tropical
That's
strawberry, but I
It's
don't.
got like a mushroom thing.
I
in
don't
it,
know that you
probably.
expect like juice specifically.
All right.
Everyone take a swig. Big gulp.
Big
Ready?
gulps only.
One.
Hang on, no, I gotta mix
Hold on.
more.
Okay.
I gotta mix more.
Jeez.
I'm not ready.
I'm ready. I'm good to go.
Just do it. Let's do it. Ready?
I'm always nervous to try something on the podcast now.
It's not eggnog.
That's fair.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Swig it.
All right. Tropical
I knew you
strawberry.
did it. I knew you did it.
Eggnog challenge.
I knew you did
Revenge.
it.
I'm not
Why'd
convinced
you
I
know-
didn't get
This
it.
is pretty good.
I knew you did it.
Why?
Because I could smell it.
Ah. Do you know why I did it?
Did you have it or did he tell you?
Huh? He told me.
I knew it.
Okay.
I knew
so,
it.
so there's a back. So for the audience here, Ryan, 5 years ago, did something called an eggnog challenge to us.
I knew it.
Why'd you know it?
One, because it wasn't sealed.
I said all of them weren't sealed. I've been selling you all day.
Kind of.
Let's go through the story first.
Okay.
Okay, so Ryan comes to me today and says, let's get Jeff on the podcast. We'll do a taste test of these, which, by the way, for those of
Pretty
you
good.
listening, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They really are great. Ryan goes, let's get Jeffrey. So Ryan is the aggressor in this whole thing again. He wants to pull a prank on Jeff. But I didn't forget that 5 years ago, Ryan pulled a prank on me.
I want to try one for real, though.
Made us drink paint. Or whatever that was.
Yeah, rinse the flavor out.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, actually.
So Ryan came up with the idea of, not as good as that one though. Ryan came up with the idea back then of doing the eggnog challenge. So he used, he put like, what did you put in the eggnog? We'll show a clip from it
Mayonnaise.
right now. So this is the clip from it right
the
here.
main ingredient was mayonnaise.
So here's the clip from it.
So we're doing a eggnog taste test between all of us to see what is the best.
Okay.
And so right now we just have regular Dean's Country Fresh eggnog. Do you want more?
Yeah, probably. I haven't ever had this. Why are you like this? Why are you the way you are? Vanilla spice. Mine smells like paint.
I'm not a fan of the smell going in.
Smell the cup. It smells like paint. I think that's the cup, though. I don't think it has anything.
This tastes like Cinnabon.
Don't.
What is that? What did you do to us? You put mayonnaise in it, didn't you? That tastes like
It's mayonnaise, milk, vanilla, and cinnamon.
No, it's not.
Okay, so that's what Ryan did to us, and you saw his demon laugh, thinking it was so funny.
It was funny.
So 5 years later,
Couldn't breathe.
I've been biding my time for the day that would come when I could finally get Ryan back. Today, he comes to me and goes, let's get Jeff on the podcast. He got supplements for the dog from Wilderness Athlete. They make dog supplements that are actually good for you. Well, good for
They
the dog.
don't come in tropical strawberry?
No, they come in like chicken liver flavor and
like
stuff like
gravy.
that. So his plan was to put that in one of these for
Oh, that's
Jeff.
why I got the mark.
Exactly.
All right.
But I switched the lids, so Ryan would think that you had the mark and that you had the bad one, and Ryan had the.
How did you know that his was that one then?
I had it
It's
in the
not
very front in the box.
smart.
I
I had to get you
okay,
back.
okay.
We're even now.
No, you are you? Is this like? Are
For
you done
eggnog
explaining?
chal- Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, then you want to know how I knew it was coming?
Yeah,
Few different things. You sell hard.
you sell me out.
You sell no. No one said anything. You sell really hard in a prank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really, really hard.
but I thought you'd think I was trying to sell him.
You sell hard, and I got to smell all of the different canine flavors beforehand. So when
Right.
I opened it, I'm like, this isn't right.
Did
could
you know
tell.
why?
He's
Did
like,
you
it
know
does
why?
smell earthy.
Did you know why?
and I could tell it wasn't sealed, and you took too long looking at it when you're pulling it out of the box.
You did
You
take
looked
a-
at it
yeah,
for you were
you did
going
take
like
a long
you're
It got moved around a little in there. I had to go to the very back for me and AJ because I was scared that him and I might end up with it. I wasn't even convinced you still had
and
it.
you should keep your packages cleaner.
Oh gosh,
What do you mean?
there's dust.
It's
all over
dust
it.
on it.
From the dog stuff, I assume.
Oh, so I should have rinsed it. Well, we didn't rinse it.
You might as well, when you hand it to him, might as well have gone.
Yeah, basically.
But anyhow, I don't care. I got Ryan back for what he did to us 5 years ago.
Yeah,
People don't
nailed him.
forget. Now everyone's still laughing about the eggnog challenge. I don't feel like I got them well enough. So how was the Wilderness Athlete dog supplements, though?
Actually, for drinking it, if someone tried to sell you on this is what it was and it was super, super duper healthy
It's like
for
a
you,
health drink.
yeah, you'd be like, oh, okay. I don't think
You
you'd
just suck it down.
That tells you how bad green juice is getting.
If you say dog food as you go into it, you're going to smell dog food.
100%.
So, Wilderness Athlete, long stamina, balanced electrolytes, increased mental clarity.
Fill
This
up the
one's
whole
pretty.
thing
The
with
tropical
water.
And
strawberries.
a healthy coat and
Strong flea and tick removal.
I do love
good hips.
I do love these. And Ryan said, but they did send the dog supplements because of your puppy.
Yeah. I'm pretty pumped about that to get him on some of that stuff because one's called New Dog, which we did a podcast on kind of going over some of those things. And I think the mistake a lot of people make with their dogs is they wait to supplement their dog until they're seeing the effects of old age on that dog, whereas that's something you should be supplementing the whole dog's life, especially if it's a performance dog. Their diet needs to be pretty top notch.
Good, healthy joints last longer than joints that have already started to decay.
Yeah.
Basically.
Keep them healthy. Don't try to recover health, especially something like that. If it's arthritis,
Is what it is
done,
at that point.
You're done.
Going back to our topic, we have to come up with an episode to replace the one for History Channel.
You know what? I'm leaving.
And honestly, I do like the idea of paying homage to our home state.
Homage.
I've been
French.
saying I've never been to the UP. I said
What's your idea for our episode, monsieur?
I said I've never been to the UP on Sunday for Father's Day when I was fishing with my dad. He's like, yeah, you have. Twice.
Oh, yeah?
We drove through there to go to the Wisconsin Dells on your birthday. I was like, really? So we went
Do you
up.
remember that road trip?
I remember the Wisconsin Dells.
You don't know where you
remember
are on a
Dells.
long road trip as a
Yeah,
kid. You know
that's not
when you
fair.
get there and if you see anything cool on the way. And
I
there ain't
remember-
nothing cool to
remember a lot
see
of
on the
road
way in UP.
I remember two things. One, that's the first time I got car sick. I was playing Game Boy, and I was like, what the hell is this now? I feel not good. And my mom was like, put cold air on your face. Like, we turned on the vents and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm dead. I'm going to throw up. This is bad. They're
So
like,
every time you experience something new, your first thought is, no one's had this before. I'm dying.
Yes.
Help.
Yeah.
this is a catastrophe for me. So
I don't like the taste of eggs. I think I'm dying.
I remember that. And then I also...
Broccoli.
Vegetables.
Broccoli.
Oh.
Broccoli, I'm dying.
And then the other thing I remember is for my birthday that year, I got a handheld cotton candy maker that I really wanted.
Oh, that's
Handheld?
cool.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
that
could
probably
pour the
lasted
stuff-
2 minutes. You make your first batch and it stops working.
No, you could get enough for like you'd like pour the sugar in the top and you press it and it spun around in your hand. Like you held the thing.
That's cool.
And then when it's done, you open up the lid and pulled it out. You had enough for like 3 or 4 big bites.
Wow.
Oh.
And then you could do it again, and then you could do different
Go
flavors
Mattel.
and yeah, I don't
Never
remember.
shared with your friend.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I don't remember.
What are Wisconsin Dells?
That would be like their Cedar Point or Six Flags.
Okay.
There's a ride called Zeus, and I really wanted to ride it. And I was not tall enough, but I was old enough that I should have been tall enough. I remember that.
Sucks.
Yeah.
But it's a Greek god, which is different from the God in the Bible, so it's not allowed.
Yeah, my dad said,
Yeah, ride that, you heathen.
none of this anti-Jesus rides around here. Nope.
Have you been to the UP?
I
Haven't
went,
you-
I went
have
to Escanaba once. And that was it.
Oh, for a wedding.
Yep.
Didn't you fly there?
Yeah, flew there.
Really?
45-minute flight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was also, I think it was like $45 for something stupid. It's like 45-minute flight, $45, or a 7-hour car ride. I think we'll fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cutest little airport you ever saw.
I bet.
There was enough room on that baggage claim for like 6 bags.
Have you ever seen
Small track.
Escanaba into Moonlight?
I've heard of
No.
it. I refuse to watch.
Yeah, you have.
Nope.
You have not.
I've-
You've dodged it every time.
We watch it every year at deer camp, and I get there every day.
At
The first
3
time
a.m..
at 3 a.m. The first, technically the second morning, and I always miss it.
I think
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels wrote it, but I've never seen it.
It's like Ryan would probably like it. It's his Jim Carrey humor, but I like it.
If Jeff Daniels wrote it, then that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. But now I'm sold.
I've been to the UP quite a few times, and I think it is awesome. It is
Wow, you're
very,
so
very
cool.
fun.
Yeah, but you're married now, Ryan.
So
You got married eyes.
we went cliff jumping. I showed you some videos of that.
Yeah.
And
Don't tell him that.
I'm doing it.
this
Now
one
we're
was
gonna have to.
Sold.
I feel like if I'm gonna cliff dive, I have to be at the top,
listen. You don't need to dive.
see down there. Then I
And-
need to go down there without jumping.
Yep.
Get in, check for rocks.
Yep.
Then I need someone to go where I'm at in the water while I go back up and look down and go, okay, I want to jump right there, and then maybe I'll do it.
And then do a backflip gainer.
Nope, very boring.
So go ahead, Ryan.
We swam in Lake Superior. We went dirt biking.
How cold
we
was
camped
that?
there. Very cold.
Oh.
Very, 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 very cold. And I don't like cold water, and I still got in.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
we did the dunes once in Traverse City,
Oh God.
and you walk the whole dunes and you get all the way to Lake Michigan. You're like, oh my god! And we didn't bring water. We were dumb.
to die.
We finally get to the water. We're like, yes, yeah. And we get into the water, and it's freezing. I only got 1 foot in and went, you know what? I'm not even thirsty. I'm good. We'll just go back now.
You went back up the dunes.
I went in.
So cold.
You went in?
I always do, yeah.
He didn't.
Maybe not that time.
Maybe a different time.
We used to go every year. Matter of fact, we haven't burned Laurel in a while, so
I was
let's
gonna say
go ahead and bring
Laurel
up
never made
yeah.
it.
She did. She got up the first hill, and there's like 30.
Are
she
they
got
really?
up the first hill, and she just started.
Dude.
It's a.
As it turns out, runs in the family. She sat down and went, I'm dying. Just leave me here.
She did actually, but you would like it's not for the faint at heart. Like
Right.
you're hiking, you're on sand the whole way. It's a hard hike to get there.
It's
Loose
hard.
sand.
Loose,
Yeah.
very.
And you're going uphill, so like every step is a real.
Holy
You know.
cow.
But then once you get there, so the Sleeping Bear Dunes are in northern Michigan. They are on Lake Michigan. They're giant sand dunes that you can walk to get to the water, and that's what we're talking about. And in Michigan, it kind of seems like everybody does it,
Yeah.
but
I've
it's a
heard my whole life.
long, hard walk. And we got up the first hill. Which I'm talking, it's like it would be like where we go skiing, like where we went snowboarding.
Yeah.
If you had to just walk up it, but
And
loose
now,
sand though.
The first hill is for sure the worst because you're going all the way down from water level up pretty high, and then the rest of them are kind of like up on that level.
Okay.
But that first one is by far
But
the
there's
worst.
a bunch of those little ones.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the water.
And the mistake everyone makes is for their first time they go and then they go, oh, it's just over this hill. Well, it must be over the next one.
Mhm.
Well, no, it's over the next one.
So you
It's got to
can't
be
see
over
And
the
then
next.
you're in the Sahara and you take your shirt off and wrap it around your head because you're like, you haven't seen water in days.
Wow.
So we got up that first hill the first time when I was a kid, and
Phil and your mom?
oh yeah,
Wow.
oh yeah, well.
Everybody had good knees back then.
We were with the Adragnas, so Katie, Nicole, my mom. I don't know why I'm doing it in this order. Katie, Nicole, and their parents, and then my parents and Laurel and I. This was the 8 of us. We got up the first hill, and Laurel starts bawling her eyes out. Just lays down, and she's like, "Just leave me here to die." Which I mean, as a kid, I was
Yeah.
like, "Get
Dramatic the Greens are.
yeah. So me, Mr. Dragna, Nicole, and my dad went on the rest of the way, and everyone else, we just went back to the car after the first hill.
Okay.
It's like steep enough though that like people snowboard it with like, but they snowboard it
Dang.
like
Sand sled.
sand sled or whatever it's called. They do that there.
Okay.
Like it's something.
There's parts at the lake that are so steep that they're like, don't go down it. Like you have to call Coast Guard to get out.
You can't get back up?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Yeah, every year there's a few people who do it,
Yep.
and they gotta call Coast Guard to come pick them up,
It's like the TV.
and you get fined for it.
They tell you not to do it.
They
They
gotta
tell you
come
not to do it.
rescue you.
Wow.
it's like the people that ice fishing every year that don't pay attention, break off, end up in the middle, and got to be rescued.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been on ice that broke off before though, but I got back in time. As soon as it happened, we got up. And there was like water in between us, but we were able to go around it and still get on the other side.
Like
were you there for that?
when that
I know
ice,
Uncle Jim
when
was.
the ice tacoed that one time.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
by the canal mouth, and we're
Yeah.
like, how do we?
Yep.
There was land right
Jeez.
next to it. Though I was like, oh, just
But then we had a trespass.
Yeah.
I didn't love that. Yeah, I did. That's what I do. On-axe hunt. Check
That's
out your. So anyhow,
know where you. Know
I'm
where you are.
sold.
Know where you're trespassing.
I'm sold on doing a homage episode to Michigan. So, what is in the UP then? You've got cliff diving. I want to do that.
Well, it's summertime, so really what you're left to is fishing. So you guys are trout fiends. So
Yep.
probably that.
Oh no,
You guys went to Uppity Kitchen Kitty.
Get you to Kippy.
itty bitty titty.
That's in the
Nope.
UP?
It is in the UP.
Okay.
It's really, really cool. I don't.
What's the actual name?
Kitchity-Kippy.
Okay.
It's what?
How could you be sure?
It's a spring that feeds into a lake, and I think it's either Bear Lake or.
What's so great about it?
It's a spring that, like, imagine like a large pond.
Wow.
Okay.
A really significant sized pond, but it's the most. It's like you're looking through air. It's so crystal clear, and you can see straight down to the bottom. And
We fish that.
That's a big no.
Sure, you can't.
There's some big fish down there.
Don't even touch
It's
the water.
protected, man.
Can you swim in it?
You can't touch it.
Okay.
Don't touch the water.
All right.
You can look at it.
Wouldn't it be funny if Ryan was like, "Yeah, you can't really," like it's in his system now. He just starts barking. So we can go to
Yep.
Kitchity,
Uppity kitchen kitty.
Uppity
That's a
Kitchen
good
Kitty.
one.
We can go to cliff jumping.
Uh-huh.
We can go trout fishing.
Pictured Rocks is up there.
Pictured Rocks.
Pictured Rocks
We
would
could
be
do some
cool.
camp.
I've
All right.
always
I've
wanted
been
to
to
go there.
Pictured Rocks. Pictured Rocks is less fun.
It's
than-
on the commercial for Pure Michigan.
You go, you take a picture of it. It's rocks. Wow.
Yeah, that's why they call it Pictured Rocks.
Can you jump off those?
No,
Okay.
Aren't they like real?
they're huge.
Are the falls huge?
What falls?
Isn't there like
There's falls
the big
everywhere
falls
up there.
up
I know I'm gonna regret.
Tequamanon?
Tequamanon.
I know I'm gonna regret saying this, but you got to look into permits probably.
Armageddon Falls.
Permits.
Right.
Yeah,
Armageddon.
the permit,
Oh yeah,
permit
permits
king.
for sure.
Oh.
So
I bet so. Kitchity
Permit
Kippy's probably a park.
yeah.
Tequamanon Falls is probably a
Yeah.
park.
National.
Picture- gonna be
Pictured Rocks is
No, they'll all be state parks.
That might not be as hard then. It's the national parks that have been
Hopefully.
biting us. In
If
the,
we have the thing on our plate, we can get in. We can film
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You have the $11 sticker.
Yep.
we're clear.
I think Kitchity-Kippy used to be some guy owned it, and they used it as like a place to dump stuff, and when it wasn't being taken care of, or like Natural Elements had taken it over, so it was like covered in leaves. It didn't look good. At some point, the land had switched hands. I believe this is how the story goes. It switched hands, and this guy realized it was a spring.
And he's like, "This kitty needs to be cleaned up."
Yeah, basically.
So he moved some leaves, and it was like, oh,
I think it was kind of like that, where it was
Jumanji,
like, whoa, look at this thing.
all these leaves floating. Where's the water?
So they have this like thing you can like, it's like a boat you ride out on, and the way you go out into it is it's connected to a wire, and you gotta spin this wheel, and it like moves you across the water like that. And there's a hole in the middle of the boat where you can look down into the water, and you can see right where the spring is. It's always bubbling. It looks
What kind
like
of dumb boat is that? There's a hole right in the middle.
it's a
sealed.
safe boat. I got pictures. We can
I
put
feel
pictures
like,
on there.
I feel like that's a place where you can't fly a drone.
You can't.
Oh,
You can't.
How are we gonna film these things?
Cameras are pretty small now. Could sneak in. But I think it's probably best we ask permission.
Yeah, I hate. I just hate. I hate permits.
Yeah. Permit breath.
Speaking of permits,
Planet Permit.
okay, so we'll do the UP. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to figure out the rest of that. I want to trout fish. I would like to camp, and I would like to cook on the water. And maybe we can have RecTech send us a grill, like a travel grill for it,
That'd be great.
and then we can cook
would be
right by
good.
the water. That'd be sweet.
I stayed in a really cool place. We didn't see anybody. It was on a lake. Like, seriously, we saw no one. And we just camped right next to the water.
For every purpose, for every path, for every soul, for every season, there's a Ram.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
Introducing Renegades, the all-new and American-made semi-auto shotgun from Savage. Made for shooters who put performance above pedigree and don't follow the crowd. From stock to muzzle, it's built to cycle without fail and without compromise. That's the Renegade's way. Only from Savage, where better comes standard.
Crazy man.
I'm sorry for whatever I did.
I want to talk this over. Okay, so I am holding in my hands. We're doing a random subject change. I think we got that taken away. Production meeting over.
Kippity, chippity, whatever.
So this
You go, shut up.
This is the Mountain Hunter version of the Savage straight pull gun. Okay, and
Straight pull.
yeah, exactly. So it would be, I don't even know if it would be considered a bolt action still, if it's just a straight pull in general. So this is the Savage straight pull Mountain Hunter. Now, what's so cool about this gun is, and the reason why I'm showing it like this is because everyone's so curious. A bolt action normally goes up and back like this, but this gun doesn't have to do that. It just goes, I got to press this button, or if I press this button here, it just slides straight back. So there's no bolting over the top. It's just straight forward.
Really?
So, like, let's say you shoot. That's all you do. Shoot. Just straight forward, straight backward. And my dad was like, well, how does everything engage? It almost tilts in the very beginning just a little bit. Then, a little bit of a hinge there. But it is just, and I haven't even oiled this. This is straight from the factory, and it's still that smooth.
So it's one fluid motion as opposed to ba-ba.
Right.
I feel like the first time you use it, you're used to doing it otherwise, and when you go to shoot and then re-rack, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think the biggest problem is now I'm so obsessed with this that I'm gonna suck when I have to use a regular one. But when you shoot, you just go boom, forward.
Oh, nice.
And
It's pretty clean.
It's functional when you do it that way.
It's got a carbon barrel. Look at this muzzle brake on it. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's going to have very little kick because of the muzzle brake. That's going to take a lot of it off of it. Mm-hmm. And the carbon fiber barrel is probably my favorite part. But
looks cool.
And then the scope thing.
Yeah. So actually, I want to talk about that. So if you look right here, the rail is directly attached to the gun. Now, instead of having to have a normal rail, you would have it like sitting up higher. So this means the scope is going to sit really, really, really low to the gun. Now, normally you couldn't do that. Why? Because your bolt would hit when you tried to rack.
Oh, yeah.
But now, because it's a straight pull, the scope can sit lower. So when you think about guns and you think about guns and you think about your scope, your crosshairs are sitting above the gun, right? The higher they sit up, the more drastic the calculations have to go into as far as aiming it down, because the scope has to be aimed down slightly in order for, like, let's say you're at you want to sight it in for 100 yards. You would aim your scope down slightly so that, because the barrel is below the crosshairs, so the bullet comes out of the barrel and travels down the range, and then it has to meet up with the crosshairs. But depending on the rise of the bullet, depending on all those different factors, you have to factor in the fact that the scope is sitting up that much higher from the gun. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, like my dad's old gun, he's got the 30-40 Krag, because of where the bolt sits and the way everything sits, the scope's actually off to the side. You see that with some lever actions that spit out the shell up top and those sorts of things. So having the scope sit that close to where the barrel is makes for far less calculations, because the crosshairs are so much closer to where the actual bullet is coming out as opposed to sitting up way higher. So what does that mean for long distance shooting? It just means less variable chain. You're not aiming down to account for as much, so you're more accurate more often. It's really cool.
It's like you're making a very long triangle, because you've got the distance from the barrel to the scope, and then from there you come out until you meet, and that's at your 100 yards or whatever you sight it in at. Whereas if the distance is much smaller, then it's almost like two parallel lines.
And there's less
difference.
Yeah. So that was like the greatest description. Yeah, that triangle thing and making it closer.
I have to explain stuff to you all the time, so I figured I'm good at it.
No, that was a great, between your storytelling last week, your that was great. Yeah, so
I really sold the mark on top of my drink this time.
Yeah, you did.
So with this gun too, it has the Accu trigger.
Sorry for what I said.
It is available for sale now. You can buy this gun, but I got this one in a 6.5 PRC.
Oh, nice.
And that round is really, really great for long-distance shooting. It's faster than the 6.5 Creedmoor that everyone's obsessed with. So that was why I chose that. I'm going to be using it for the pronghorn antelope hunt, but this is the
And it's grippy.
It is. I like the way it feels. I like everything about it, but the Mountain Hunter by Savage, straight pull, get yours today. Carbon barrel is probably the best part.
It looks
about
really
it.
nice.
Yeah, that's
Sweet.
really cool.
On the subject of rifles, we're shooting a video soon for Nosler, and we're in pre-production for. I'm trying to plan this whole thing out on how to make it look good and interesting. It was sort of a learning curve for me because we want to get a super slow motion camera and shoot into one of those big ballistic gel blocks.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I started researching ballistic gel. It's far more expensive than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah, they used that Mythbusters a lot back in the day.
Yes. So
I already said we do it too, so we're pretty committed.
yeah, yeah.
If you told me to guess how that comes, I would guess it comes like Jell-O, where you get a powder and you mix
You
it
mold it.
and then you put it in the mold.
So you can do it yourself, but it's a pretty to have all the things you need to do it. It
But even is it still expensive even then?
initially yes.
Ooh. Has anyone ever tried just Jell-O?
Well, it's funny you're saying that because that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Very dense gelatin.
So I have a whole slew of notes here on how it all
bite it?
works because it's actually
Like if you were to touch it, like is it skishy at all?
Yeah, it's like a little blob.
Really?
Yeah,
It's supposed to simulate human flesh. And you bite into human flesh.
yeah. So every time you do that, it works out. So I have all these notes here on how
Easy
it works because
Twilight.
when I was researching what to get, it was like, well, do you want 10% ballistic gel or 20% ballistic gel? And I'm like, I don't know. So I started looking up what's the difference between 10 and 20. Didn't really come to a solid answer on it other than
It wasn't just 10?
It
wasn't just 10?
just 10 what?
The difference between 10 and 20?
Yeah.
So-
Touche.
As far as I can tell, the difference between 10 and 20% ballistic gel is basically density, and the FBI standard for ballistic gel is 10% because it represents flesh more than the 20%.
But we're shooting a 28 Nosler for the test.
So that it still is the same. You'd still want 10%.
Oh, okay. I would have guessed 20 to stop it. I just didn't think it would stop
No,
it.
because what you're seeing in that ballistic gel is what matters. Because if you have a different density of gel, you're not going to see what's accurately represented when you're shooting into something. So if it was the 20% and it's stiffer and harder, it's not really showing you what happens inside, say, a deer.
Oh, I see. So, like, for instance, the goal of this video, which we should have said, is to show. So, Nosler has different bullets, like that are for different things. They have rapidly expanding bullets that are for, like, if you were hunting coyote, you would want to make a very little entrance hole, and then you would want the bullet to just deliver all the energy to the animal, and ideally not go out the other side,
Right.
because then you wouldn't mess up the fur, and you'd kill the animal quickly and cleanly. So that's one type of bullet. Then you might have like a long range trophy bullet. Well, that would also be a little bit easier to expand. Or, AccuBond bullet, which is specific to break down at certain ranges and that sort of thing. So basically, what we want to do is we want to show what the different bullets do, from speed, from what they do to the ballistic gel, and how they impact the animal to help the person that is trying to decide what bullets to buy understand, okay, I'm going to do this type of hunt. What type of bullet should I buy and why? So we're going to kind of break that down so they know which bullets they should be getting. Because like people think you pick up a gun and it's a bullet and you shoot and that's it. But they all do very different things.
Yeah. So
we're going to need lots of gel.
The goal is we should only have to shoot the gel. Like if we can shoot different parts of the gel, then we might only need one. Might need
Maybe.
two.
I was gonna guess 3.
I would assume once the bullet goes through, you're rippling all the gel, and that could change the next shot, even if it's a foot away.
Is he right?
he is
Yeah.
sort of right.
All right,
And-
$600 out the window.
Jeez.
So
Do we put like bones in it to represent like what?
No.
when you hit it,
How much was a block?
the cheapest I could find, I forget the exact measurements of this block. It was $146.
Hello. It's gonna be a sweet video.
Yeah,
You guys better watch it though, for real.
So we're getting like lemon lime jello then? Are we getting?
So
Jello shots.
I'll go through some of the notes and then we'll get to your flavors. So ballistic gel we've been testing ballistics for a long time before the gel. So sometimes they used spaced pine boards. So they would do pine boards one after another and see how it would travel through those.
Mm-hmm.
They used wax, which seems like a good one. They used clay. They used phone books, wet or dry. For some reason, what I was reading made a point to note that they were wet or dry sometimes.
I feel like you tear through the wet ones easier, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Phone book?
There's more material in there now. There's now water filling up all the other empty spaces.
Anyone buying phone books? Last one I had was because I had to sit on it when I was driving at 16.
And then the other note they made on what they would use for ballistic testing was cadavers, human cadavers.
Yep.
They would hang up humans and then shoot them.
Real testing.
Yeah,
Live?
cadavers are dead.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know that word.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dead person that donated their body to science, and then they take that and it's called a cadaver.
Is that are you messing with us?
No, I didn't know. Sorry, it didn't come up, freak.
Yeah, that's like a med school thing. That's how they learn to. Whatever.
You didn't go to med
I would
school.
assume that they also, not just cadavers, they also use like probably dead pigs.
So I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
That was smell.
it wasn't on your list. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for getting to the list.
Anyways, so dead people. And how expensive are those?
Dead people.
I'm asking.
You know
Relax.
what's funny actually?
I'm gonna ask it.
Is I tried digging into that, and there's a whole market. There's been entire businesses made on the trade of dead bodies.
Black market.
No, not black market.
Really?
It's at least brown.
A lot of it is they're selling them to the government to test things. And I was gonna make this next week's story, but we'll bring it up here.
Here's the bit.
The mummies?
This woman who died of Alzheimer's.
Never heard it said that way.
Well, that's how it's said.
Alzheimer's.
That's.
If
I
you
thought
say
it was all timers.
it's not.
Oh man.
You got that old timers.
Sorry, I'm being honest and vulnerable, and you guys.
I drink dog water. Okay.
Yeah.
I get to do what I want.
You were a good sport about it.
I know. I was like, I have to play along for the bit.
Yeah. Bless your heart.
I smell the dog stuff in it.
Was a little bit curious.
Of what?
Like, were you like, I kind of want to try it?
No.
No. Me
It's
neither.
like the dog
Not-
treats
not
that are
once.
shaped like Oreos. They just look like Oreos, but they're a dog treat.
And sometimes they smell good.
Yeah.
Who do we know that ate dog treats?
Laurel?
No.
Like that's the first guess though. Poor Laurel.
So this story is this woman died of Alzheimer's, and the son decided to donate her mother's body to science. There's like a check mark thing where you can say what you do or don't want the body used for. And he said no to any like military testing. And he found out a while later that his mother was used for military testing for seeing what the effects of roadside bombs would do to a body.
Oh.
And
So they
Thanks to Gladys, now we know.
they cremated her.
they did cremate her
All the
by
bits.
chopping off one of her hands, cremating the hand, and sending that to the sun.
Wow. Ruthless.
And so the company that does all this trade for dead bodies, they were
Which
like
hand?
they were averaging
It's important.
they were averaging like $5,900, making $5,900 off of each dead body that they
Yeah.
sold.
Oh yeah.
The company's since gone out of business for fraud, lying about probably what people want the body to be used for.
Oh
Yeah.
okay.
And here I am paying $10,000 for a funeral.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
You know, for
Take it even after you're
for
dead.
for $4,000, you can become part of a reef.
oh, that's kind
They
of cool.
cremate you and then put you in a reef.
Wreath.
Reef.
Reef.
Like the ocean.
Oh, like Christmas.
Okay.
No.
like a Christmas reef.
That's how you say that, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that's about as much digging as I did into that because I had to get back to this
digging. I get it. Dead bodies.
If it wasn't her
That's
who ate
been
the dog
that's
treats,
been a
I'd feel guilty
problem
now.
for hundreds of years. They used to have grave robbers would go in and steal bodies and then donate the cadavers to medical schools. And that's how they would get their
It's been
It's kind of like a don't ask, and you just
growing
Don't
business.
ask, don't
Yeah.
tell. Interesting. So, anyway, back to ballistics, Joe. Why do we as consumers test ballistics? Primarily to see how ammunition behaves when being used on live tissue. A lot of times the manufacturers are doing it to probably test velocity. Much
wonder
more
if-
scientific.
I wonder if Nosler can send us blocks.
Oh, maybe. That'd be pretty cool. The blocks are made from gelatin. Literally jello is what the article said. Specifically Knox gelatin, similar to what you eat.
Oh,
Right.
So
Clear-
Similar.
the clear one.
Similar. Just like the dog hydrate and recover is
Is
similar
similar.
to the watermelon
so
human
wait,
one.
but what's different about it?
I don't know. I didn't dig into what Knox
'Cause you can
gelatin
just go
is.
buy Knox gelatin at the store and then mix it properly.
It
and-
might be the density thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would just
my
mix
density.
more powder with less water and make.
What'd
maybe
you say?
just make it ourselves.
You can try.
There's a recipe online, I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I'll
go,
look.
You go for it, man.
I love Back to the Future when he goes, "You're my density. I mean, destiny."
You leave her alone.
You leave her alone, Biff.
Sorry.
So one of the perks of buying a block of gel versus making it on your own is because of that density thing, that 10% mark. Because if you're making it yourself, you have to test it yourself. The way that that's done is you take a BB gun, you have to have it calibrated to between 575 to 605 feet per second. If the BB reaches a depth of between 2.94 to 3.74 inches, then you have the proper density. If it isn't within those margins, then you don't, and that's.
So should we do a test then?
No, if we're buying it, it should be fine.
I know, but like to show that in the video.
I mean,
Watch then it's not right.
yeah,
That would suck.
when you're kind of breaking
You're
away from
tainting
like, yeah, well, not necessarily, but you're kind of breaking away from the subject matter of.
And I don't think Savage makes a pellet gun, so we can't get one.
There's literally a wiki how on how to make ballistics gel.
He did the research. Will you let him have his moment?
You can make it. You can
9
make
gallons
it.
of water and 117 ounces of gelatin will give
Didn't
you a
ask.
10% mix by weight, which is the best for ballistics gel.
All right,
You
you
start-
make
you-
make one.
Yep.
You
You
make
guys are
one.
talking, and all of a sudden I just start playing a video. Today on how it's made, ballistics gel.
Mark Summer.
So then after you,
Rips up a
if
sofa.
you've made it yourself and everything, you check the density of it. You're good to go to shoot it. According to them, typically most bullets cannot pass through an 18-inch block.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. If you're like doing some really hot rounds, then yeah, it will. But
What distance do you think?
I don't know. They didn't bring that up. I everything that I saw was like a pretty comfortable distance to that. Like
50 to 100?
no, way closer than that.
What?
Way
on,
way closer.
on-
Because I think you don't want.
But when you want a representation of what you are going to be at, like I'm shooting a deer at 100 yards, so I should do it at 100 yards.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess
If it's supposed to represent flesh.
yeah, I guess from a scientific point of view, then you would want to do it that way. Everything I saw was people relatively up close, just putting a super accurate shot on the dead center of it. But yeah, I guess I don't know. That'd probably be some more.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
On Mythbusters, they did a, you see in movies where they shoot into water,
Yeah.
and then the bullet hits the guy, and he's like, "Ugh," and then he just floats up.
Yep.
They did a test where they were trying to figure out at what depth of water do most bullets become non-lethal, and it was only like a foot and a half or 2
Really?
foot.
Really?
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I think the only one that got down that far where it was still like okay, it's going to cause a problem was like 50 cal or something.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if it's only making it through 2 foot of water, I mean, it keeps going for a while, but it's no longer. I don't remember what the
Piercing.
exact threshold was, but it was like non-lethal or less lethal or whatever it was. So, and that's just water. So,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Which was also, I think, in the new John Wick movie. He was fighting somebody and fell into the water, and it was just like a little like tactical thing that they put in the movie. Was when the two guys fell in the water, they were right next to each other, and John Wick like immediately like scooted away while the guy was trying to shoot him underwater, and all the bullets were like dropping right in front of him because they couldn't go far enough.
Yeah, they're not lethal, but a bee sting's not lethal either, and it still hurts.
Can be.
I'm dying.
If you're allergic to
Well, no one's ever been stung like I was.
most people are allergic to bullets, as it turns out.
So after you shoot, what happens is that entry, it's gonna, like, if you could watch it in slow motion, everyone's kind of seen pictures of it where it opens way up and then collapses back down. Well, what happens is in that, when the bullet's coming through, it creates that giant cavity and then shuts back down on itself. It like almost seals itself again. So what a lot of people do is they take like a ink that has high contrast, and then you inject it into there because there's so many fissures that come off of that that you can't see because it's now collapsed back down on itself. So you're not getting all the information properly if you're not seeing the contrast between everything. So you want to fill up all the space that was open that you can no longer see. It'd be like, I don't know.
Like flubber.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
or
it's
like
just kind of.
Or like
like when you make your butt clap when you're dancing.
Yeah.
You're like closing it down.
Oh, you know what this reminds me of? Twerking.
It's probably the
I was
most
thinking,
entertaining shooting gel talk that ever existed.
I was thinking more like if you have like a crack in your windshield and they put the glass, like they're fixing the hole.
But I went butt crack and you were thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't fix that crack.
So then at this point you can start analyzing the path of travel of the bullet, and the main questions that these guys were saying you need to have answered are how soon does the wound cavity start? And I didn't realize any of this. There's like a whole science to the way this thing is shaped on what's important and what's not. So I'll kind of lightly go into that because it's pretty in depth.
You might have to host this with me.
I was gonna say
there's a lot to it.
Seems like your dad would know all this for no reason.
I don't know about this one. I don't know.
Well, then my dad does.
Well, when
my dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah. So when you're shooting a guy, the thing you got to keep in mind is
my dad's got a fresh knee now, so.
Oh, he can walk normal.
Yeah.
He doesn't walk like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
He never did that, but.
He listens to the podcast, so you've heard his feelings now.
I don't think he does. I'm gonna find out. Dad, if you listen, tell me. I don't think he does. He likes the show, but I don't think the.
We'll give you one cool sticker for your cooler.
His cooler from like 1904.
Cooler's cool.
It is cool.
So question 1, how soon does the wound cavity start? Question 2, how wide is the cavity at its widest point? How deeply did the bullet penetrate? How long is the cavity? Which those are two different things that I learned. How far the bullet goes versus how long the cavity is.
Wouldn't the cavity just be as long as the bullet goes?
That's what you think, but it's not.
No.
Because like the ripping could continue to happen?
Yeah, correct. It's really strange.
It's like building inertia in the tissue as it goes.
I'll get into it. What fragmentation occurred? So if the it busts up and breaks, like if you're shooting a hollow point, what happened there? Did it shoot off into different directions? What is
shrapnel?
What is the retained mass diameter of the projectile? That one I didn't fully
say that again.
RMD.
What is the retained mass diameter of the projectile?
Means like the end bullet.
What's it shaped
what's
like?
What's
if
the
it
diameter?
Lost bits, is there still like the main core part of it, or
I guess.
Yeah, what's the diameter of what's left?
Right.
Especially if it mushroomed. Yeah. Not tough.
Just use your brain. So then I started looking at the pictures that they had of the ballistic gel and the way it works, and I have a little picture here.
There you go, Kyle.
Yep.
Oh, Stingray.
Stingray. So if this whole piece of paper is your gel block,
I love it.
They call this the neck, which is basically the initial entry. And you don't want the neck to be super long or super short, because if you're thinking about, like, say this is the left side of the deer and this is the right side of a deer, and it's quartering away. If your neck is real short and your cavity, this is the cavity, it's quartering away from you. If you shoot at an angle in and your cavity's here, you're not necessarily hitting all the vitals you should be, or messing up the vitals you should be. Does that make sense?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the neck is.
So the neck is like your initial entry,
Where the bullet's going in, but it hasn't started like.
it hasn't done the thing where it makes the gel go, and then it hasn't created that giant concussion inside. So say it's such a powerful round, it'd be like this: shooting a Barrett 50 cal at a deer. It's just gonna, or maybe not that.
Maybe like a 270.
A round,
because that goes in and out pretty quick with a minor.
A round so hot it doesn't even do anything; it just goes straight through. That would be the neck.
So that neck would be very long.
That'd be a super long neck, and that's not really desirable.
Because it's too fat. So if you had, like, for instance, a good example would be like a super hard tip that was very narrow and a very hot round, it would just go through, like, just make a little, poke a little hole.
Like, look, you can go like that, and then you're not getting that concussion inside
that you want.
Right, making that cavity. So this is the cavity. They're saying you want to measure its widest points in both directions, because you have to look at top down and from the side and see what it's doing there. You want to see if is my bullet curving down, up, left, right, what's happening in that situation. And then where it narrows down is what they're talking about. How far did the bullet penetrate versus how big is the cavity?
So after the cavity is starting to get smaller because the bullet's slowing down?
It's slowing down, but it still has enough to keep going through things. So
but not enough to make a cavity.
Right.
And at that point, the pressure from the flesh is pushing back.
So it's the energy has been dispersed. So it's energy that's causing the foot-pounds of energy is what's causing the cavity, and you're losing energy as you go through.
Right.
Got it.
So that's like you'd want to know how long that is too. Your cavity is the most important thing. You want to know what your cavity is doing to know is my neck too long, and it's not creating, it's just passing through, or it's making that cavity on the outside shoulder. That wouldn't be good. It's a big blowout on the other side. You want that to happen dead center in the middle of whatever you're shooting.
Okay.
It's a pretty morbid conversation.
Yeah. It's just Jell-O. I mean, the vegans will be upset, but that's good.
So it gets way deeper than that on the science of everything, but for simply, that's what it is.
That is interesting. I'm a little bit more interested in doing this project.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So in summary, we're going to be shooting gel blocks using different nozzler bullets, all out of the same gun and the same caliber, to show the difference in how the bullet travels, does what it does to flesh, so that people can be more educated when they pick out a bullet for hunting. Because what you use for pronghorn antelope at 500 yards isn't necessarily what you want to use for elk at 100. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So it should be interesting. We're going to be shooting 28 nozzlers.
It's a mean round.
And, and I already received the different bullet types from Nozzler. So we are ready to go. We just got to get that and then find a place where we can actually shoot them. We'll probably just do it at the property.
We'll still want a backdrop, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll probably make one.
No, we'll probably go to the property where the backdrop is endless space.
Property.
Woods. Yeah. I think that's what we'll do. Well, thank you for doing that, Ryan. I'm excited for that. Another topic. Did you have something else?
No, I was just gonna say just the weird science of this activity goes super, super deep.
You put a couple hours into it today.
It was intriguing.
I literally thought you were gonna shoot a block and then that was gonna be that. But you also got
that's cool.
Yeah, you got a guy that has a camera set up for us too.
Yeah,
where we should be able to show.
He's got the super, super high speed cameras, so I'm trying to connect with him on how all that stuff works, because we haven't really broken into that territory as far as filming technology.
Is that like a business or just a guy you know?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Oh, just a business you know?
He has a business that does this.
I guess you don't get a camera like that without.
He made the mistake of talking to Ryan at church and then probably like passively offered it up, but never thought it'd really come to fruition. And now we're gonna
drive 4 hours to meet us at our property.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll buy him lunch.
We'll see how it goes.
4 hour drive. We'll get you lunch.
Well, it's like what they use for MythBusters, where you use super slow-mo camera where you can see the bullet traveling through the block.
We're going to get the black and white striped thing so you can see it as it nice.
I'm excited for it.
It'll be cool.
Something.
And Jeff can make all the gelatin.
Yep.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, Nosler Ammunition, Bosch Shot Shells, Wilderness Athlete, fuel for the rugged, Tracker Boats, fish the finest, Eagle Fishing, designed for the savvy angler, Rufus Teague barbecues, snacks, and spices, Rectech Grills, it's more than a grill, it's a way of life, Sea-Doo, make your own waves, LEM Products, motivating people to hunt, process, and prepare their own food, Quiet Cat, the leader in electronic bikes for hunting, fishing, camping, and exploring. Consistency. That's what you aim for with every practice shot. So when you're out in the field, you get that same consistency every shot. With Carlson's choke tubes, consistency is what you'll get. Our choke tubes are long-lasting, high quality, and made right here in the USA. Carlson's choke tubes, pattern tested, hunter approved. Find out more at choketube.com.
Are you anxious to get going? Knowing that the clock is ticking and time truly is the most precious commodity in the world? Then you, my friend, are in good company.
Currently,
I got the recipe.
Awesome. Currently, there is something going on right now that everybody's talking about. I saw it on TikTok for the first time last night, and then sent you the video right away.
Mm-hmm. Last night was the first time you heard about it?
Yeah.
It's been going on since Sunday.
What?
Yeah.
No.
They didn't go public till yesterday.
No, I know, but it happened.
So don't
on
act
Sunday.
like.
Oh, okay. So what he's saying is reasonable?
I'm just surprised. That's all I heard on Monday. All day.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it
And it
yesterday.
went public yesterday.
Yes.
So I heard
So
it.
he heard about it yesterday.
So I told Ryan, I sent a video to him and said, just because I thought it was so interesting. And I was like, oh, no one's talking about it, though. But then every TikTok, every news, every Facebook, every Instagram, everybody was talking about it. And as it sits
Big news.
right now, we don't know what happened. I know they run out of oxygen in like 48 hours. But they took a submarine down to the Titanic.
With tourists.
Yeah, huh?
It was a submersible.
Yeah, it's like a home-built submarine.
Yeah.
Well, I was.
Well, it's kind of official, but it's just like a submarine could go down there by itself. This is a submersible, so a boat had to bring it to the location, and then it just goes down.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, apparently
that's the thing they're stuck
You're
in.
damn right it just goes down.
Yeah.
Right now it ain't come up. So go ahead, Jeff, because I know you watched some of the videos on it. And stuff
Yeah, so
too.
they call it the Titan.
And you've known about it for 2 weeks. So
It was made by Ocean Gate. And
Ooh.
Nice.
Watergate.
oh,
Isn't Hell's Gate or Angel's Gate or what is it?
so the
Pizzagate.
guy who
Pizzagate.
is like the main
Now we
guy
can't
at
be on
Ocean Gate,
YouTube.
the owner, he designed this thing, and he's also the pilot. So he's currently down.
He's down there too?
He's currently down there, and he made this submersible, and people pay to be a volunteer, like a passenger. They call them, it's like mission
Expedition.
expedition engineer
like a
or
Disney
whatever
ride.
it is. They're like, oh, it's super official. These people are paying $250,000
Yep.
Whoa.
to be in this submersible and go down and see the Titanic.
They
which
paid
is
They paid $250,000 to die.
Yep, and it's
It's
38.
I don't think
Titanic's down
I don't
there,
think they
too.
knew going in.
Oh,
What'd you say?
they didn't know they were.
It's down there.
It's
Titanic.
3,800 feet down, which is more than a mile.
Yep.
Is that more than a mile?
No, I thought it was 12.
I think it's
Not
like
quite
2
a mile.
miles.
No,
down.
you're.
I saw a guy. Who,
I thought
Maybe
it
it's 3,800 meters.
I think that's it.
It's
think it's-
3,800 something.
I think
I
it's
think
2
it's-
miles down.
Hold on.
2.2 miles.
3,800 kilometer meters would make sense then.
Just give it
Yeah.
1 minute. 13,000 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. So 30.
The Titanic wreckage
yeah,
lies
okay, yeah.
about 13,000 feet underwater. The remains of the Titanic bow are located
So
about
5,000.
13 nautical miles, about 15 miles from the coordinates the ship's crew gave when sending distress signals, according
Talking
to.
about.
Sorry.
So they make the submersible. There's 4 people in it plus the pilot, captain, whatever you want to call him.
Yep.
And they go down and look at the Titanic. They each pay $250,000.
What a
This guy's
racket.
making $1 million a pop going down to see the Titanic, which you don't really get the option to otherwise. So I guess what's that really worth?
Right.
You know, if
says
you get to be one of the only ones.
Loan
It's
market.
worth your life.
Well, yeah. So they get down there.
Well, it's
and
so damn. It's like harder
you
than going to
can't-
space.
You
That's what one of the
can't,
guys said. The guy said that there's been more people in space than there have down to that depth.
Yep.
One of the guys
pressure.
that's down there right now was also one of the guys in the Blue Origin thing that went into space with like William Shatner and
Oh, really?
that like passenger spaceship.
Bezos.
Yeah. So this thing goes down. It can contact the boat above it, but only because it's directly above it. Like regular communication waves can't really get through that much water. So they get down there, and then they're giving them like this far this way, this far that way. The thing has no like navigation of its own. It's basically a window and a joystick, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I got a question. I know they're trapped down there. Why can't they just go up? Just go up. Wherever you come up is better than down there.
If they come up, they could, at that point, if you're no longer communicating, which the problem is they lost communication with the boat above. As they're coming up, you're 2 miles down or whatever it is, you're not coming perfectly straight up.
Wait, isn't that
You're just
better
coming
than being?
Sure. And that's the thing. They may have come up, but they don't know where they're at. They've got like a 900.
So there's a chance that they could just be sitting on the surface somewhere, chilling.
And the other problem is the safety mechanisms of this thing. They don't want to have bolts from the inside out because when you're down that far, something to do with pressures, whatever. So they're bolted from the outside in.
So they're locked in it. It's a giant
So
safe.
they're locked in it. So even
I
if
would
they
never
got
get
to
in
the
that.
even if they got to the surface,
I'm
they still
claustrophobic.
only have 4 days of oxygen because they can't get out. So they still have to find them.
It's easier than looking down there, though.
Yeah. So this thing it's basically they said it's about the size of a minivan.
Yeah.
So it's 5 people in a minivan stuck
Size
at
of this room.
either the bottom of the ocean
You got to poop.
or
You got to poop.
or
I think there's a
floating
toilet in there.
somewhere on the top of the ocean.
It's true.
You
What?
think there's a toilet?
I'm pretty sure there's a toilet inside it.
I didn't hear if there was a toilet or not.
On the radio today, they said that it's made of carbon fiber,
Yep. With
and that-
titanium on the ends, I think.
and then if it even took a dent, it just
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah, so there's several scenarios. Either it had a rupture and immediately just crumpled because you're talking about thousands of pounds of pressure on this thing when it's down all the way down there.
Yeah, it's the size of this.
Yeah.
now.
Or it came up and is just floating somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's like 8 different scenarios. They have like safety things. They've got I think it's 3 or 4 different sets of weights that if they have a failure and they don't communicate with the boat within a certain amount of time, they drop this weight. That would make them rise to the surface. If that, for some reason, would fail after another certain amount of time, the next thing would drop off. That would bring them to the surface. There's also a balloon that would inflate with air that would bring them to the surface. So there's all these different things that would bring them up. And then for air inside, they've got a scrubber, which is what they have in spaceships. It basically takes carbon dioxide that you breathe out, takes the carbon out of it, and gives you back oxygen. But it can only do that for so long. Your body's using some of that oxygen. So they've got a scrubber, they've got a backup scrubber, and then they've got tanks of oxygen. All of that together is the air for the 4 days. Everyone's saying they got 4 days to have
That's the
oxygen.
highlight.
That's the amount of oxygen just for a regular trip. Not if there's 4 people panicking
Stressed.
in a thing and and they're freaking out. Everyone's talking more. They're panicking and they're using more air. So that 4 days is also not. That's a guess.
Jeez.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was
Fingers
just
crossed.
a publicity stunt?
Yeah.
Even if the Titan
Like
can
in
be
Dave.
even if the Titan can be located in a remote patch of ocean where the seafloor lies more than 2 miles below the choppy surface, retrieving it may not be easy. To recover objects off the seafloor, the U.S. Navy uses a remote-operated vehicle that can reach depths of 20,000 feet. But ships that carry such a vehicle normally move no faster than 20 miles per hour. The Titanic wreck lies about 370 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. So that's not fast enough.
As soon as they're lost on Sunday, if you start from then, I don't think they'd get to them in time. So even if they find it, now if it floated, there's an option. But if it's still down at the bottom, okay, they found it. All right. Well, at least we can bring up the bodies. You know, like, woof. There is a guy. They've been doing these. They've been doing these trips. I think they've done 20 some of them.
I mean, it would be less. It would only be 18 and a half hours drive.
Oh, to get to them?
Well, if it's 370 miles,
then you're going 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, divided by 20. Okay. Yeah, that's.
All right.
But
still a variable.
That's where they are off Newfoundland, Canada. That's not necessarily where this remote thing is.
And that's now do they bring that out anyways? And you got to hope they find them.
Right.
You can get all the way there and they never find them.
Ooh.
But they've been doing these trips for a bit now. They've got 20 some under their belt. And the way it works is you go out and you're out there you're not out there specifically, but you're going out for a week.
35 dives to the Titanic site.
You go down once a day for 5 days. And of the 5 days, you hope that one of them is successful and you find the Titanic.
How do you not know exactly
it's
where
not
it is
even because so you're going down there and you got to remember it's a window, lights, a joystick, not a lot to it.
Right.
There was a journalist who went down like a month before, and he said they went down and then they got lost for 2.5 hours. And it wasn't that because the problem right now is the one that's down there can't communicate with the boat. That's super lost, you know. These guys were still communicating with the boat. They were just lost down at the bottom of the ocean. They couldn't find. So they didn't know their location properly to say, you know, the boat's like, oh, you look like you're here. Turn right, go 100 yards. There's the Titanic. They did it. The Titanic wasn't there. So then they just had to bring them back up because they couldn't find it.
Okay. Is a sunk boat really worth it? It's a sunk boat, dude.
That's the thing that I think is funny about it. So Titanic. Big draw for rich people. They get to go on the lap of luxury on this unsinkable boat, and then it sinks, and a bunch of rich people die.
Trying to look at this boat.
Modern times, a bunch of rich people, having not learned the lesson, get in a thing that goes into the ocean. They're drawn to the Titanic, and then they also die.
Bad energy.
I will say, look at the conspiracy theory behind the Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
With JP Morgan. They wanted to make the Federal Reserve. Those were his boats.
He was supposed to be on the Titanic, I think.
Bailed last minute, and the people who didn't want the Federal Reserve were on that boat.
Collected the insurance, too.
And that boat sank.
Really?
Yeah. There's a crazy conspiracy.
What about Molly Brown? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just glad Leo made it.
Yep.
Yeah. The captain of the Titanic did 9/11.
So the weather forecast seems not to be a factor. So the expected weather for the remaining work week does not appear to be a factor in the search and rescue efforts. The weather looks fine. I was looking up what the weather was going to be in the area because I know there were some tropical storms, but the closest one's 1,000 miles from them. So, I mean,
they're safe.
I'm praying they find him though. I bet. I guess whenever this airs, the answer will already be out because this comes out Friday.
They'll run out of air Tuesday or Thursday at like 2:30 or something.
Maybe
we'll
release it before then. If you edit it tonight, then we can.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll always put it out at Friday, whatever. But
I don't want to put it out Friday. I don't want to be the guy that's like talking about. I really hope they make it though. That'd be quite the story.
Yeah. That's scary.
It's funny though. Whatever stories we really get hooked on as Americans, because how many people died in Chicago yesterday? 30, you know, and the day before, 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 and I don't know if you looked into Chicago lately, but it's not doing well. Strictest gun laws in the country, so don't seem to be working out. But then a couple people are underwater, or if there's like a mine cave in, or like those are our go-to.
Well, I mean, these deaths matter more. They had more money.
No.
So they matter more.
They're worth more people.
I hope they don't die. I
Yeah.
mean, I really do. It is.
No one deserves to be down in a little minivan at the bottom of the ocean,
That may
slowly
be one of the
suffocating
worst
over 4
deaths
days.
ever.
I wonder if there's like one person in there with snacks.
And he's hiding it.
That he's MVP.
And that's the thing is
it's Jack Black from Tropic Thunder. With
what are they
the jelly
doing for
beans.
supplies? You know?
They would have made one of our gas station runs before a trip. I hope.
Yeah.
Even then,
But like people
they're
that
down
are
to the honey barbecue pretzels. And
evidence
that's it.
that they find of people that were buried alive, they like claw their own eyes out and lose their fingernails scratching on whatever it is they're trying to get. Like it's a
That's
just
horrific.
a
Jesus,
bad,
Jeff.
just a bad way
Come
to
on,
go.
dude.
So I really hope they find him.
I hope. What are you crying?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's your birthday. We'll get milkshakes.
Yeah.
So I say a prayer for those people and hope that they survive, and I hope that the story ends up being a good one.
Mhm.
But that is the whole thing's interesting. It's just
Yeah.
you add that much depth. It's just the pressures at that depth. Everything has to be so perfect. I mean, dive down in a pool and go 15 foot, and your ears are hurting.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
think about that pressure.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just like the cliff diving thing. I would need to see so many people do it first. I would need to
more than 25, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Jeez. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to the Greenway Outdoors podcast. Check out our weekly video podcast right here. If you're just listening to it, watch it on Carbon TV or YouTube. The Greenway Outdoors TV show is coming to History Channel. Can't wait to share those episodes with you, and our newfound idea for the Pure Michigan episode is going to be in there as well.
Yeah.
We are going to have a bunch of new merch coming out that's going to go hand in hand with these episodes, so look for those announcements as well. We're also going to be announcing very soon our Wild Game Dinner and Premiere Party, where you'll actually get to see the first couple episodes of the Greenway Outdoors on History Channel in the movie theater, have an awesome Wild Game Dinner, and win some prizes. It's going to be in Michigan. We'd love to have you for that. Check out our how-to video series, especially that Nosler one coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay green.
I'm going to go drink my dog water.
What's the deal with submersible food?
That was good.
Submersible food? Oh, jeez.